Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. Here, this is the spot where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Welcome home, Brains. There's only one requirement to hang out on the edge, is that you open your big brain and close your small mind. Did you bring your thinking caps? It's time to put them on, because the conversation starts now.
Rajika,
Hi.
did that startle you? I wanted to get your attention. Oh, I love those masks on your wall back there. Where are they from?
Oh, just all over from mostly from Vegas, and then we've just been collecting them over the years.
Vegas. Oh, they're like Circus Soleil.
Yeah, we went to the Venetian,
Okay.
the and we really liked them there, and we've kind of started collecting. So my mom bought some, and then we got some, and yeah.
Yeah, I collect masks too. I have a lot of carvings from all over the world. Some from Africa and uh, Jamaica and the indigenous people from Australia. So, what are you doing in the world besides being here on the edge with me and my brains? Brains, look. Rajika Mahan is here, okay? And she's going to talk to us about some good stuff, some good, relaxing stuff, okay? I have some very interesting questions for her. She's from India. She had an arranged marriage. I know that that's very fascinating. She's got two beautiful daughters, but now she's working with women because, through all of that, maybe she lost herself. And so now she's trying to find herself and help you find yourself. So she's a dynamic coach, a wonderful woman, and I've got some great questions that I want to ask her. Welcome her to the edge, Rajika.
Thank you so much. Thank you, April. And hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be here and be part of this amazing community. Thank you.
Well, it's a tribe, okay? And
Yes.
that's what we do. We are culturally aware. We care about people. We want to learn. We want to open our big brains and close our small minds. Tell us a little bit about your upbringing in India.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, so I was born and raised in India. I went to an all girls boarding school from the age of 6 to the age of 13. And it was an all girls boarding school. And it's, we lived in a joint family with my uncles, my grandmother, myself, my mom, and we had the best time. Oh my god, I reflect on, like, grew up with my cousins, and we just had such a great time, and childhood was amazing. My favorite moments were when it used to rain in India, and we all the cousins used to get together and we used to just dance in the rain. So that was my favorite moment.
Uh, Let me ask you a question. Culturally, what does that dot signify? The red dot
So
for my
the red dot,
no?
yeah. So the red dot really signifies, once you get married, it signifies that you're married, and it's usually the red dot. Now a lot of us are wearing it, more for, as we dress up, or we coordinate it with our different outfits. So young girls are wearing it. They're not specifically, they're not married, but traditionally back in India, the red dot meant, you're married, you're a married woman.
Okay. And so explain to my brains about the henna and the
Oh,
that you do. I love it. Every time one of my friends gets married, African or Indian, I'm right there to get them done. I love it.
so henna is, it's an old tradition, right? When the girls used to get married, um, usually about a week before the marriage, she wasn't supposed to go out. So, you were home, you kind of are getting yourself ready for marriage. And, they used to have different rituals, and henna is one of those rituals. So it's really giving you, it signifies again that you're going to be getting married. It's really to beautifying, the bride for the groom. And so we put the henna on. It's also back in the old times, the women used to do a lot of the work. So this was, again, okay, once the henna is put on, you're not doing any of the household work. You're kind of relaxing, and you're just, being, and getting ready for your marriage. So it's a significance of marriage, significance of beauty, that you're getting, you're beautifying yourself for your groom, for your husband. And it's just decorating, and just making yourself
It's an
beautiful.
art form. I mean, it's
Yes.
really an art form. I saw, you usually see it on the hands or whatever, and on the feet
Yes. Yes. We
also.
do
But
it
now
on the feet.
I saw the young girls. It kind of slithers down their arms, so they're getting very creative with that. Let's
Yes, they
go to
are.
another cultural question. I know that the women of India, you guys got some of the best jewelry. You love rubies and emeralds, and not so much the diamonds, but the rubies and the emeralds and the sapphire and the 24 karat gold.
Yes.
What does that signify in your culture, the jewelry?
Again, I mean, the jewelry is, again, a lot of the girls used to get the jewelry when they used to get married, right? Because of the dowry system. So you bring jewelry, as part of getting married into the family, into the husband, to this with your husband. We like the 24 karat because that's the closest it gets to pure gold. Um, it's something that the parents give to their daughters, as they get married, and they're taking that a remembrance from the parents' house to the in-laws' house. We like the gems and the semi-precious gold stones. Again, that is just, it signifies, that the person is from a well-to-do family. It's yeah.
Well, I ask you all these questions to kind of lead into my next question, because there's a lot of opulence, and there's a lot of beauty, and there's a lot of rituals, and there's a great and a grand presentation before you present yourself to your husband. We haven't talked about the dowry yet. I don't know if it was you or my other Indian guest that's coming on that talked about the woman having to pay the man's family a dowry to take his beautiful daughter.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to that, it was an arranged marriage. So just so that we understand, tell us a little bit about that.
Do you want me to start with the arranged marriage or
Yeah,
the dowry? Okay.
tell us a little bit about the arranged marriage, and then in the arranged marriage, I want to hear about the dowry, because I mean, you dressed to the nine, you got your jewelry on, and you got your hands painted, you got a beautiful, regala, a gown. You're already beautiful. I don't know why in the world you got to give them a check too.
Right. Yeah. So
And you're supposed to be a virgin, right?
yeah. Yes. Yes. So the arranged marriages, back then, again, the arranged marriages were really done, to because in India, in the olden times, the girls were considered a burden, right? Because you had to, like you said, you had to give them dowry, right? You had to give the husband side the dowry to for them to marry your daughter. So the arranged marriages back then were also to ensuring that your daughter would get married, ensuring that she's going to a house which is going to look after her and love her and keep her safe. And a lot of the older people, the older generations, used to, and still do, sometimes still do, look for a match for their son or their daughter that would be accept, so they are in the same um, financial status, right? So a lot of that is still prevalent. And it's matchmaking, because back in India they didn't really consider dating. Now of course the world is changing, but dating wasn't really, back then, was not allowed,
Yeah,
or
because you would be doing some kissing and fondling and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you got
yes,
this beautiful girl and this rambunctious young man,
yes,
and
yes,
then you get yourself in a whole lot of trouble.
yes, yes.
So you keep referring to the olden times. They're still doing some arranged marriages now.
They are doing it, and I feel that they are doing it from the perspective, and I think it's changed a little bit now. The old times, once arranged marriage, was like, okay, you're getting married to X, Y, this person. You didn't have a say in it, right? You didn't say yes or no. It was understood that it was arranged, and that was it's a done deal. Now what's happening is it's like, for example, my example, when I met my husband for the purpose of being married, it was an arranged setting, but I had the option of saying no if I didn't like him, and he had the same option. So that's why it's a little bit different. We have a little bit of more leeway and freedom of saying yes or no, whereas olden times, back then, grandparents' time, it was okay. If this is what was said, then it happened. So that's why it's a little different.
Okay, so in other words, your mom and dad say, "Hey, you know what? We found this really cool guy. He'll take real good care of you, and he's nice. So we want you to marry him because we know his family. So
Yes.
this is what you're going to do." And then do you have any time to prepare? I know every situation is a little bit different, but do you have time to get to know them at all before marriage, or this is just straight to the chapel, or I call chapel temple?
Yeah, totally. So again, it's changed over the years. You can have courtship. They don't really like a long courtship because they feel that if it's a long time, then maybe the chances of you changing your mind or whatever
Right,
could be
right.
different. So again, saying, like you said, every situation is different. Usually they would prefer for you to get married within the year and have a shorter courtship and get engaged and kind of solidify that this is going ahead, and they prefer you to get married within the year.
Now, again, I lay the groundwork for all of this because this can be a blessing or it could be an extreme burden, because you're committed to this. I don't know what the cultural norms is about divorce. In case you don't like him, can you send him back and get a refund? But what does this do to a woman? Because you know what? You're not really able to make a lot of choices. You don't have a lot of options. What does this do to a woman's psyche? And in this, and I mean, you've been married, as you told me, 29 years, so it worked out favorably for you. But a woman loses herself. And that's
Yeah.
the work that you're doing right now, is to try to help women regain their identity. Connect the dots for me, please.
Yeah, so it's like you said, it's a blessing, or it could be kind of a curse, or not a blessing. I would say curse is a little bit of a stronger word, but I think what happens for women, especially when it's going through an arranged marriage, it's really saying, okay, we've selected this person and you're getting married, and you're going, and there's a lot of tradition of, like, you have to do what they're saying, and you're all kind of obligated, right, for in some fashion. And sometimes it's also kind of you hold yourself back from that. You don't really express how you feel or share how you feel, so you kind of lose your voice, because that's not what people want you to say, right? Or if you're
They
not
don't
happy.
want you to be a big mouth. They want you to go along and get along. And
Yes, yeah. And so, yeah, I think, yeah, the connecting the dots is really what I found, that yes, I got married, I have an amazing husband, he is a spouse. But what happened for me, and again, every situation is different. What happened for me was that I put all the decision making, I put all of those things on him, because saying, oh, he's the head of the household. And yes, I would make decisions, but the big decisions were, he would I would look towards him to make those decisions. And I lost myself. I lost the sense of my own confidence. I lost a sense of who I was, because I was attached to, well, my identity was attached to, being his spouse, and what he says kind of goes. And it it was again a blessing, or just or not a blessing, because that has what has led me in my work, that I was tired of that. I wanted to be me. I wanted, because I am a person, I have my own identity, and I didn't want that to be attached to, oh, you are so and so's wife. Well, yeah, I am, but I'm also me. I'm Rajika,
Right.
right? I'm more than just this person's wife. And really helping women to stand in their power, be confident in what they say, on what they ask, and be okay to ask for what you want, and not feel like, because you might not be working or you're not financially contributing, that you don't have a say in it. And that's where kind of my personal struggle internally, for me, was that I felt like, contributing to a household equals that you had a say in what you wanted or what you
You're
asked
a
for.
very smart woman. You're extremely educated, you know.
Yes.
So you didn't just sit there and collect dust.
Yeah,
You
no.
did make some decisions, and you did that. And your husband is very forward thinking and progressive, because, for the lack of a better term, he allowed that,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and he supported that. And here
Yes.
you are today. How does that impact your relationship with your daughters? And I don't know, how old are your daughters?
So my oldest is 25, my middle one is 21, and how it's impacted is,
As far
yes,
as
they
like dating and all that kind of stuff, I know daddy's looking at them with a side eye.
so my girls are very opposite of me. My girls are very confident. They speak their mind. They tell people exactly how or what they want. And I think I kind of shared that with them, saying that don't lose your identity, don't lose who you are. Doesn't matter what you do, what work you do in the world, who you get married to. Like, be you, and do you, and be okay with asking and saying what you want, and not kind of shying away or saying, oh, well, society's not going to like it, or people are not going to like it. And they're very opposite of me. And that was one of the things I have kind of shared with my daughters, that yes, I had made kind of some of the mistakes, and I had kind of gone down and just kind of shied away and wanted to be in, more hiding. That it's not something that I want for them, and really instill that for them.
Well, that's beautiful, and that they're able to receive that, because they're seeing a well-adjusted family. Because out there now, everything is topsy-turvy. So your recipe for success started with integrated nutrition. And I know that there's a lot of Ayurveda from
Ayurveda, yes, yes,
from India,
yes.
and that is a cleansing.
Hmm.
I wish I could really kind of go through it. I did a colon cleanse one time, girl. I thought they was going to put me in the hospital. I had to do it slow, but it is, we are what we eat.
Yes.
And I know in India that you honor the cow, so there's no beef eating. You know,
No.
I was on a cruise one time and had no idea that a cast from Bollywood was on the cruise too. And you talk about having the best time. Oh, I got my hands painted and I ate the best curry and we danced. But I learned so much because I'm very inquisitive. I asked a lot of questions. So, how
Right.
did you get started in integrated nutrition?
Again, I think it's the, being raised in India, a lot of, the Ayurveda system, again, it's a deep, thousands of years old, right? And it really follows what kind of, they have the different, how do you call it? Like, um, so each person has their own, like, I don't know.
Oh,
So the Ayurveda, so
what they are now. Yeah, I remember. I know what you're talking about.
the different types, right? They have different types. They have the vata, they have the
Right.
pitta, the kapha. So they have different types. And so the Ayurveda is really following what your body needs and wants, and really listening to what your body is asking for. So I've always been interested in that. Always, again, like you said, what you eat is who you are. And me really expanding on that, and really learning the integrative nutrition as a holistic person, like, the person as a whole, not just having it in segments. Oh, food is a segment, this is a segment, but everything, how it affects the person as a whole. So had really studied that and really understood, okay, yes, you could be eating nutritious food, but you could have you might be going to a job that is not fulfilling, and that's affecting your body in a different way. Yes, and it's causing stress, it's causing imbalance in your body. So really understanding and in really having the looking at the person as a whole and understanding them as a whole. And that's kind of why I did the studying of integrative nutrition. And I love alternative therapies, so I'm very much into alternative therapies and love my essential oils. I love other modalities that I incorporate every day just to heal the body. And that's how our bodies are built, right? It's more for the healing.
It is for the healing, but our culture here in the United States is more restorative. They want you to fix it after it's broke.
Right,
Instead of being progressive and taking the onset of cultures from India and Asia, where are more preventive. It's like, don't even put the junk in your body before it happens.
Yes.
But there's a lot of junk in the world right now. COVID,
Yes.
COVID-19. And it has really turned our lives upside down.
Yes.
And, I want to ask you, what has this time of deep reflection, isolation, awareness, fear, all of that, what has this taught you?
What it's taught me the last 8-9 months has taught me that we as humans can control so much, and there's a higher power, higher source beyond us. And we might be able to control certain aspects of our lives, but we are really to lean into being okay not knowing the next step, and really connecting with that and saying, okay, yes, there's uncertainty, and but we'll get over it, right? We'll come through it. And there is something, I call it God, you might call it universe or spirit, that there is a higher.
I grew up calling by his first name.
God, yes. And they are, there's a reason that we're going through it.
Yes.
And it has really stopped me in really reflecting what's really important, the relationships that are important, and what's really important at the end of the day. Is it really important of, and being kind and just being compassionate with each other, I think has taught, this is what
it is
really
an understanding. But you also said something to me earlier, is seeking happiness. Yeah. And again, brains, that's another one of those big $25 words, because happiness can be some trickery.
Yes.
Happiness can people always looking for it, like it's up under the rock, or it's on your desk somewhere. You can't find happiness within. Happiness is within. You can't find it by outside sources. That's not going to make you happy.
No.
Being content, being at peace, being respectful, being of love, sharing, giving, caring, all those things equate to being happy. They all fall in the same vein with love.
Yeah.
What would you tell your clients right now that are struggling with trying to find happiness? What would you say to that person?
Well, brains, I'm going to say something to you.
Yeah.
Brains.
Now she called you by your first name.
Brains. Well, I'll tell you something. Through my journey, what I have learned is no one can make you happy. You have to really seek it for yourself.
That's right.
And once you stop and really, it cannot be external things or accomplishments or how much money is in your bank account or the materialistic things. It's really the happiness of, let's say tomorrow you lose everything, right? And how are you going to be? How are you going to feel? Separate the materialistic things from who you are, because you are enough. You have everything that you need within yourself. It is taking the time and saying, what really makes me happy? Self-reflection, and being okay with it not being what the other person or your friends want. And if it's okay for you, and really standing in your truth of saying, this is what makes me happy. And it could be something just really small. Maybe just, connecting with somebody makes you happy. Maybe, giving your time and volunteering could make you happy. Whatever that is, find that happiness within. Because what I have learned, and this is what I was seeking, was the materialistic things. Oh, I needed to get this, I need to accomplish this, I need so much money in my bank account. But that did not fulfill me. But what it was doing, it was fulfilling a void in me. Those outside things were filling a void for me. And then when I stopped and looked, like, that was not making me happy, right? I was always seeking the next best thing.
Right.
Really
Right.
stopping and saying, okay, what makes me happy? And having that self reflection of, if I lose everything tomorrow,
Mhm.
am I still going to be happy? Or
Right.
are those things driving you to be happy? Are you looking for those external
Right.
circumstances
I
or
call it the artificial sweetener.
sweeteners? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's not pure. It's not
Nope.
pure. It's sweet and then it goes away, but it can leave a residue inside your body. You are working with women now as a coach.
Yes,
So
yes.
tell my brains how to get in contact with you and what is your ideal client? I mean, really what does the person need to be or where they need to be? Because everybody's not our ideal client. I can't talk.
Yeah.
But who is that person that's going to work best with you?
So the women that I absolutely love to work with are the women who are feeling lost, feeling stuck, and just have lost their identity of who they are, right? In the process of raising a family, supporting their spouse, maybe looking after elderly parents, and have lost their own self identity. And what really ignites me and really I am passionate about is really helping them to see who they are and having them reignite to their dream, and just feeling whole and complete, not feeling like there's something missing for themselves.
Right.
um, so I work with a lot of women whose kids are leaving the nest, so they have this big gap of what's next for me, right? So I'm helping them transition from, as the kids are leaving home, what's next for you? You still have so much life, you still have so much to give back. What is that next thing for you? Providing that clarity, providing really insight of what it is, and then working through what are some of those mind games, right? Those monkey talks, the self-negative talk that we keep telling ourselves, that is preventing you to achieving that for yourself or fulfilling on your dreams.
Wow. Well, you are definitely doing all the right things. And thank you so much for giving us that cultural lesson.
Thank you.
Because it's second nature to you, but it's it's very important to us. There's a lot of cultures now that I had a guest on my show that they're still doing female genital castration.
Oh, wow. Yes,
You know,
yes,
they're
yeah.
still doing that and getting arranged marriage. So
Oh,
you know,
that's crazy.
it's a lot going on. So as you
Yeah,
spoke in the olden times, it's still happening in 2020, but
yeah,
you are here to ease the pain of
yes.
these women to
To
work
really
with them. And
really empower them and being who they are, because we get lost in the shuffle. We get lost as we are raising kids and we are attending to everybody, and we put ourselves on the back burner.
I know
Really, really really reigniting ourselves.
that's beautiful. Well, tell my
Yeah.
brains how to get in contact with you. I'd love for them to work with you. Women from around the world, listen to me. Listen to Rajika. Okay? Seriously, brains, because there's a lot of you that's trapped. And you've been sitting in there, with that busy monkey mind talk, as she said, you got to change that neuro linguistic programming. You got to change the way that you talk to yourself. You got to change what you ingest, not just your food, but your words, your environment, your people, your spirit, your God. You got to reconnect. Whether it was arranged or not arranged, maybe you arranged it yourself and messed it up. You can do that too.
Yes, yes.
Coming to the awakening to say, hey, this is not what I want. This is not who I want to be. And I want to forge ahead. Rajika is definitely the person to work with. I highly
Oh,
recommend her. I do. I do.
yeah.
Thank you so much. So tell my brains how to get in contact with you and what you're
Well,
offering right now.
awesome. Brains. The way to get into contact with me is my email is Rajika, which is RAJIKA at Rajika, RAJIKAMAHAN.com. And my website is rajikamahan.dreambuildercoach.com. And for all your guests, all the brains, I am offering a complimentary 45-minute visioning call with me at no charge. And during this time, we're going to get in deep of what it is that you would love to create for yourself, what's holding you back, and what are your next action steps for you. So that is my gift back to all the brains, all the women who are feeling trapped, who are feeling overwhelmed, who are feeling stuck and really want to move to the next level and just change the results that they're creating for themselves.
Or sometimes just have a good girlfriend conversation.
Yes.
That like we're
That's true.
doing here on the edge. Brains, you're at home. And I want you to go right here to this address, right here on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Instagram, Facebook, subscribe, and listen to other edgy conversations, cultural awareness, women girl talk, and men, look, okay, I got some fellas coming to talk to you too, okay? But women are taking over the planet. You haven't noticed, okay? It's our turn to drive. It's your turn to be in the passenger seat and take directions or give directions. And you have given us a direction to a higher source. And I thank you so much for that, my sister. Please
you.
come back and visit me anytime.
Yeah.
We got it going on over here on the edge 24/7. I love you from
Love
the
you
bottom of
too.
my socks because my heart just isn't deep enough. How's that?
Aw, thank you. Bye, brains.
All right, brains, rock steady.